Animal movements, we've been using them for thousands of years, monkeying around, incorporating them in our yoga practices, in our fighting practices, in our mobility practices, and in general, like Tai Chi for instance. We have been using animals, looking at them and trying to incorporate their movement patterns in our own workouts for generations, and for good reason. Using some of these movement patterns not only helps us build an insane mind-muscle connection, because there is a lot of coordination involved, but we're also working on our mobility, flexibility, strength, and endurance all at the same time, which is an amazing benefit, especially for people who do not have a lot of time to work on their health. And the best thing you can do is incorporate all of those things into one singular workout for efficiency's sake. So if you're ready, let's check out the most interesting, most strength, endurance, and mobility building, crawling and animal or primal movement patterns and exercises, and we'll go through them starting with the easiest first and working our way up to harder and harder and harder patterns. As a rule of thumb we can use is the closer we have to move to the ground, the harder the exercise is gonna be. Also, the more limbs we involve, the harder the exercise is going to be. So starting with an upright body in the horse walk, opening up our hips and moving diagonally from side to side as upright as possible. Now, for now, we're not gonna include our arms at all, and we're just gonna move like so. Be sure to keep your spinal erectors tight and to move outwards to open up those hips from the left to the right, to the left. Horse stance itself is very known to build a lot of strength and a lot of endurance in the leg musculature and lower upper body musculature. Next up, in the upright category, we have the duck walk, or also sometimes called the shrimp walk. You might find different names for some of these patterns, but all we're doing is basically moving both knees down to the ground before setting one leg up and pushing forward once more. Both knees touch down and long step, both knees on the floor, raise forward, both knees on the floor and raise forward. Now we have a lot of stretching in our hip flexors and a lot of mobility in our hip joints. External rotation on both sides before we set up that other leg and move diagonally to the front. Again, we're gonna need a lot of core strength to keep our upper body upright. We're gonna need a lot of back strength to stay even more upright in our upper body. And we need a lot of hip flexor strength and quad strength to be able to do this exercise, as well as coordination, which is one of the benefits of all the patterns we're going to be going through today. So let's move to one of the more flexibility requiring animal patterns, and that will be the giraffe. For the giraffe, we're going to leave all four extended, and we're going to move the left leg with the left arm and the right leg with the right arm, and we're going to switch that pattern just slightly. What's very important is to keep all four extended and try and extend your back as well, meaning instead of rounding, we want to push down into spinal extension. Try and move backwards as well for some extra coordination. Now here's the thing we can change up. We can move left side with right side and right side with left side, or we can move left with left and right with right. It turns out that the giraffe alternates between both depending on the speed of the movement. So you can play around with it, see what helps you more and what requires more strength, flexibility, or coordination for your own body, and use that to advance yourself further. Now we're moving on to more ape-like patterns. We have 3 different ape movement patterns, and these are medium intensity exercises. For one, they use a little bit more mobility than the others, and they require a bit more strength. We want to stay upright in our upper body. We're going to require a lot of strength in our legs because those knees never touch down. We don't take breaks, and we basically move left with right side and right with left side, meaning we're going to require a bit more coordination once more. Once again, tight lower back, upper body upright, and move asymmetrically. And as we said in the beginning, the closer we stay to the ground, the more you're going to notice that you require more strength and more endurance to do those movement patterns without breaking down and crying. And I would suggest also doing most of these backwards for the extra coordination benefits you're going to get from them. Moving us from the frontal monkey to the lateral ape or monkey movement and the short monkey movement. For this one, we're basically crossing over one leg and then switching the knee that's between our arms to the other one. Left, right, left to right, left to right, and you're going to notice the movements are very short and we are combining external and internal rotation in our hips at the same time. So if we slow this down, we're going to notice we have a small little hop, switch it up, move internally and externally, and switch it up. So when we look at it from a side view, we're trying to stay upright. We are crossing over one knee to the other, and it's a small little jump. Use your upper body strength to maybe keep you up there for half a second and repeat the process into the other direction. This is also very good for our knee mobility. Once again, internal and external rotation simultaneously in a knee mobility exercise is perfect, absolutely perfect. Moving us to our final ape pattern for today, and that is going to be the long monkey. Now with this one, you've already noticed what we're doing. Basically the same as the lateral monkey, but we're going to go into a full extension on one side. Basically what we're doing is moving through a full range of motion in our hips and in our knees for external and internal rotation simultaneously, as well as including ankle mobility. This is going to strengthen our adductors and abductors, as well as our quads, our legs of course, and we have those long jumps to the side. So we start with one extended leg, switch, move laterally, push your hip down as far as you can, move laterally, push your hip down as far as you can, switch direction. So if we check this out from a side view, upper body is upright, same jump as before. The only difference is one leg now gets fully extended and we move to the side, extending the other one before doing our jump, and once more. Bringing us to one of my favorites and a little bit more of an abstract one, and I'm adding a little bit more rotation because I find that it's a bit more fun for me and it increases my mobility work as well. But that is a modified, extended bear crawl. Now you can add as much rotation as you feel is necessary, but you have noticed our arms and legs are basically always extended. We're rotating in our shoulders and we're rotating in our spine and in our hips as well as our arms. Now, this one is a lot of fun to play with because we can move through so many different variations of spinal rotation and combining spinal flexion with spinal extension the way we want to and the way we feel at the moment. Moving us to the even more explosive exercises, starting with the frog leap. We're gonna keep our upper body extended, arms extended, and we wanna jump with our feet further forward than our hands are placed. Meaning if our hands are here, we wanna jump over them forward and repeat. Upright, over, and try and do the same thing backwards. Now we're gonna start with tiny jumps. We're still very much explosive, but we're not moving very far in a single jump. So let's do the tiny frog leaps. Forward, stay upright in your upper body, arms extended, push your upper body up. You're gonna require a lot of core strength and once more, a lot of hip, flexor and quad strength. Jump and backwards, backwards and backwards, and the speed of how you do it is going to be totally up to you. If you want to go more into the endurance range, you're going to move a lot faster. If you want to stay in that mobility and flexibility range, you can try and move a little bit slower. Moving us to the very explosive and fast jumps. Now, I don't have a lot of space here, but basically we are pushing our upper body forward and our hands touch down first before we jump over. And we want to do this as long as possible, meaning close to the floor. We're going to push our upper body forward, extended like so, and then jump like so. If we put in the speed and the explosiveness, this is gonna look like this. Stay close to the ground, forward and forward. A bit scary, I know. And let's do this backwards and backwards. Which moves us to one of the most famous animal movement patterns and the ones that most people demonstrate, and that would be the lizard walk or crawl. An asymmetrical, close to the ground, a rotational movement pattern that we're gonna do forward and backward for an insane amount of required strength, mobility, and coordination. Now, the cool thing about this one is it is a far more advanced exercise, which means it's gonna build a lot of different things together. For one, a really insane amount of hip mobility. As you can see, we have some external rotation here. We have rotation in our lumbar spine. We have rotation in our upper body, and we're gonna use this with our shoulders as well. Upper body turn to the right, lower body to the left, and switch it up. Stay as close to the ground as you can, and left arm with right hand with left foot. And of course, we're gonna reverse this whole process for an addition of strength and endurance requirements. Forward and backward. Which brings us to the final move, and basically my favorite, which is the hanging monkey. Now, if you do not have monkey bars, where you can move from one bar to the next one, forward like so, and just grab a pull-up bar and swing around on one arm, swing around on the other side. And this one is more about relaxation to decompress our body, as well as building insane amounts of grip strength, something we should all have just in case. Even if we don't do calisthenics, just swinging around here and having a little bit of decompressive fun is going to be not only good for our joints, but it's going to build the grip strength that we're going to require, be it lifting, be it calisthenics, whatever you're doing, or just opening a jar for your girl or boyfriend. So I hope you incorporate at the very least a couple of these exercises. Sadly for me, that's all the time I have left for you today. I have like half a dozen more classes to teach, but I will see you tomorrow because we have new videos every single day on this channel. So if you like the video and subscribe. Captain Cairo, peace out.